Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. It's time to go through the economy changes update, I suppose, since they have added some updated things to it, and also some clarifications. It's been a really nice few days, at least for me. Been chilling with the father. It's been lovely to see him after 5 years. Obviously, with all the pandemic stuff, wasn't able to see him, and being in a separate country was always a bit rough, but it's been absolutely lovely. And seeing him. Been hanging out a lot with the missus, been hanging out a lot with the dog, and also others, and it's just been great. And then I come back and sit at my desk and read this article, and I realise nothing has changed in a year. These changes, the economic changes, were voted on over a year ago. They actually started to be implemented in February of 2022. And now, a bunch of them have been implemented. We're also into the next stage of the implementation of the repair changes and also the general reward changes. The idea of pretty much all of these things is to try and keep them in line. So before, what you had is a setup where the repair costs and general, rewards on a vehicle were based on the efficiency of the vehicle itself. It actually says, in the old economy, which was based on vehicle efficiency target values, vehicle statistics were determined based on their efficiency ratio, the ratio of the total base reward of a vehicle to the number of deaths in it. This led to an extremely high repair cost for a number of vehicles, because as I've said many times, a lot of people would always ask me, why is the B29 so high when it comes to its repair cost? Or why is the G56 so high? Or why is the Mouse? And it's simple. They don't die. So what ends up happening is if you compare the standard deaths of those vehicles compared to everybody else's, then they just don't die. It was why when we were talking about certain aircraft specifically, or even battleships, it's like, so why does this battleship have 60,000 repair cost? Well, because you're seeing it from a point of view where it's dying every battle, when most of these battleships only die maybe once every 10 battles, because they're very hard to kill. So, you've got to kind of see it from that point. But that was the old economy. That was something that was voted on to change over a year and a half ago at this point. And then they implemented, in February 2022, a new style of economy, which it seems like the people who either have not realized that the economy has changed because they don't read, or the people who are against it anyway are just spreading a bunch of craziness about it, as always. Because whenever you have a situation where it's much easier to point at specifics to get people riled up. It's like, imagine if you have, I don't know, a document, and that document is 99% pretty good, or even 99.9% pretty good, and then you have 0.1% which is either badly worded, or let's just say bad. So, all the rest is positive, and the smallest percentage is bad. What people will highlight, of course, is the incredibly negative part of it, and completely forget the rest of it to push narratives that they have. And since when it came to the decision to change this economy, you did have quite an aggressive split of people, eventually I think either being 55 to 45 or 60 to 40, the lower percentage is always going to go after the other percentage, and that's just going to happen over and over again, and it's going to create a quite aggressive vocal minority, whereas the people who voted for the change are not really going to say anything, because what's the point? They've already got what they wanted. If you want a real-world example of this, you literally have Brexit, where that's been happening since Brexit happened, where you have quite a small majority when it comes to the decision, and then the people who voted for it are like, okay, well, let's just get on with it, everything's done. And then you have a very aggressive, whiny set of people who lost, who are very annoying when it comes to the setup, and in general will never ever shut up about it, and will just keep highlighting all of the negatives about the setup. Whether you believe it's a good idea or not, it is incredibly boring at the end of the day. So, that's happening in War Thunder. So it isn't just that people aren't reading when it comes to these economy changes, it is the fact that they are being malicious to try and push narratives because they specifically want certain things to happen, such as to go back to the old system where they benefited compared to this new system where they don't. Remember, this new system favors basically variety. It brings everything to a level compared to previously where you would have certain things which are super cheap to play, which were usually the more popular things because more people were dying in them because they were more popular, and then you had the things which were kind of, let's call them savant vehicles, if you want to be kind, where not a ton of people would play them, but they would generally be higher skilled, and you would play them because, you know, you've pretty much played everything else, so you got bored on everything else. This led to a bunch of people believing that they were superior to other people, and just a horrifically negative attitude when it came to different things. So now everybody's on the equal playing field. The people who think that they're superior, even though they're not, they just play a bloody video game. Now they're going to be annoyed at changes like this, because that's just how the world works now. You can even see it like in the opening text here. This post is one of the most aggressive that I've seen from War Thunder, and what a surprise. The people who are against these changes and who are against this economy system in general are taking offense to this. Imagine being a person that you have been sat there bashing Gaijin for years, and some of these people that I know that are bashing this stuff have been, I have looked and been here for so long that I've seen them for 8 years. I've been here for 10 bloody years, but I've seen some of these guys for 8 years saying the same things over and over again. It's just nuts. And imagine getting offended when the other side of the I suppose system goes, "Hey, numbnuts, how about you read this? How about you stop being stupid?" Imagine getting that after spewing vitriol for absolute millennia. So it opens up with, "We have noticed there is a lack of understanding of the principles of the vehicle rank-based economy, such as the differences from the previous system and the benefits achieved." Which is incredibly true. You have a set of people who can't read, no idea why. It's been a pandemic when it comes to War Thunder forever. People just can't read. So it's hopefully literacy rate in the War Thunder community increases. Don't think it's going to, if I'm honest with you. Once again, been here way too long. Seen these over and over and over again. It's ridiculous. And then you have the people, as I said, who are literally being malicious, who won't listen and will just push their narratives by picking that 1% out of the 99. So it's just as simple as that. If you want to read the whole post, by the way, I'll leave it in the description. Then it basically just gives a show of the different changes in repair cost. And as you can see, as we talked about last time, the average repair costs of a ton of vehicles, especially ground vehicles, are decreasing. Now, yes, some of the rewards are also decreasing, but they are decreasing not at the same rate as the repair costs. This means that certain areas of the game, such as the higher echelon of rank 7, the repair costs are slightly increasing in some areas, but also still decreasing. But the vast majority of the areas, they are actually decreasing, especially when you have a look at realistic battles and also simulator battles. In aircraft, pretty much everything across the board is decreasing, apart from a few specific nations, such as Italy at rank 6, and that's about it in SB. The general trend, if you want to have a look at them, is literally decreasing in repair cost, right? And also some of the modifiers slightly decreasing as well, but not at the same rate as the repair cost decreasing. But for some reason, this is seen as a negative thing. Now, would it be nice for the rewards to be higher and the repair costs to be lower? Of course. But unfortunately, that's not how you balance an economy, which is just, you know, it's one of the problems that we've seen many times. By the way, I'm just going to sit here and say it again. If you remove SL, if you remove repair costs, you will have bots take over the game, right? And I've gone into so many reasons why you have SL in a game, but I'm just going to hammer that one home since it's been very obvious the last year that there have been certain parts of the game which have been taken over by botting. AirSB And naval, right now, there are certain areas of it where there are tons of bots in them, and they are slowly being dealt with, but the thing is, how do you keep dealing with stuff like that? Because they just keep making new accounts. And I'm hoping that those two things there will show people why you have SL and why you have repair costs and stuff like that, because otherwise you would stop playing against real people instantly. There'll be so many people who create fake accounts that you wouldn't be able to stop them. And if you don't believe me, just go play Naval. You'll see like 4 or 5 each match at least. I had one match of Naval RB where I was the only player in it, which just kind of shows how ridiculous it is. So, talking about the next point, which is the changes to the reward multiplier for premium vehicles. It says repair costs and reward multipliers for premium vehicles change in economic updates by the same principles as researchable vehicles, i.e. all parameters are adjusted to achieve the preset expenses and income per unit at a time. The reward multiplier might both increase in order to increase the income per time to the required level, or decrease if the vehicle's income is higher than needed. For example, in the upcoming updates, the reward multiplier in RB for the Kafir Canard, the F4EJ ADTW, as well as the Kafir C2 and F4EJ, which are the reference vehicles, will be decreased. Since the last economic update, the gameplay circumstances for the mentioned vehicles have changed for the better, which has led to an increase in the base reward per unit of time. According with the new data update in the upcoming economy update, changing the reward multiplier will adjust earnings to the required level. This works both ways. For example, the multiplier in RB mode will be increased for the J7D, the F104S TAF, and the MiG-23ML, MiG-21 Laser, and other aircraft. At the same time, premium vehicles will always have a specific income higher than researchable vehicles and a reduced repair cost, which sets a positive average balance for these vehicles. Premium vehicles of high ranks both have an increased reward and are profitable, unlike research vehicles. Now, a lot of people have criticized Guardian for this statement, but surely we should be congratulating them because they're actually being truthful for once about these things. Surely this should be lauded as, hey, they're actually saying the thing that, is true. Something that many people for many years have talked about, and how, I can't believe they they don't address this thing. Well, here you go. They've just addressed it. This is how the economy works. It's how it's worked from day one. It's a standard free-to-play model. Does this mean that you can't be profitable in standard tech tree vehicles? Right? No, of course it doesn't. People like me and many others are profitable in these vehicles and will be going forward. Does it mean that it's easier to do when it comes to premium vehicles? Yes, of course it does. Welcome to the free-to-play model. It's been nice to see you, join and get into the rigmarole. I've made many videos over and over and over again using different sources, different podcasts, different looks at how all of this stuff works and how it's generally designed. And if you're not okay with it, that's fine. But at the same time, it does mean that a lot of people can get into the game without having to worry about these things and also go positive, which is one of the more important things about this. So a lot of people have criticized Guardian for saying this, but all I can say is, hey look, they're actually being truthful for once about these things. Not many companies will say that, and Guardian in the past have never really said that either, so maybe we should be happy about it. Then they had some individual questions and also answers. So why the repair costs for helicopters and AB going up? The answer being, at the moment, the main arcade mode for helicopters are the PvE missions and the enduring confrontation mode, which are characterized by weak AI countermeasures and long vehicle lifetimes. This leads to a fairly stable earning of SL and infrequent spending on respawns. To ensure a given level of cost per unit of time, an appropriate repair price is set. So basically, people are farming the mode for SL, and it's really easy to get SL, so we've adjusted it. Simple as. The problem with doing this, though, is the simple fact that helicopters, depending on which ones you use, some are much more useful than others. So it's just working out, which one works properly. Then it says, why do identical aircraft, the Tornado IDS Marine Flieger and the Tornado IDS 1995, have different repair costs and realistic? Okay, I'll just answer this for you. They're not the same. Thank you. Move on. Why will the PTL2 be moved to a more appropriate rank, but the M46 Tiger and PT-7657 will not? Okay. Premium vehicles, tech tree vehicles. Why are we asking these questions? Anyway, answer. Right. Researchable vehicles can, if necessary, move freely between ranks if their parameters change. In the case of a premium, including event vehicles, you initially receive a vehicle for effective research of ranks of all previous and one subsequent rank for the predetermined price in GE Gaijin or time spent. As a rule, we don't plan to expand or narrow the scope of effective research of researchable vehicles on premium vehicles that have already been purchased for a specific price. So basically, if they increase the rank of it, the price of it will go up. This is a negative for Gaijin because it means that in the first place they should have put the thing up, and also if they decide to say, okay, well we're going to put this up in rank, but the price will increase, therefore you have to pay the difference in order to play the vehicle. It's a net negative for Gaijin if they do that. Simple, and I thought that would be very obvious. They have also done some additions to the previously announced changes. So the Baglet Panzer will be moved after the Radkampfwagen 90. The Puma will be moved to the position after the Baglet Panzer, which makes sense because of the BR changes. The Sedan 25 will be moved to rank 6. And also, at the same time, the cost of research, purchase, and related parameters of a number of ground vehicles have been changed. So they've added a bunch of new ones in. Basically a lot of low tier ones, once again, since they're removing folders, and not just removing folders, but also making it a lot less to research certain things at the lower tier. Some of the bigger ones are the Band Cannon, or the Baduka Cannon, which I like the name from Freeman. The Baduka Cannon is down 70,000 RP, which will be nice. Also, the Magak 17 and Macbeth are down 190,000 RP. Same with the Radkampfwagen, but also the Puma is going up by 240,000. So make sure to research that one. If you want a full list of the changes, most of them are decreases in this second batch. In the first one, it was some increases, some decreases based on, the folders changing. This one just seems like a more general decrease in RP and also as so required for vehicles. I'm going to go and enjoy the sun and enjoy everything. Peace be with you as always, and bye-bye. I'd just like to thank Millie Draper, Juan the Panda, Nick R. Kupila, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Merciless Reaper, Orange Tail, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Moxie B. Young, Peter Grayling, Jerry Provolt, Bareen, Alan Hacker, Sem Arslan, Uncle Bean, Derek R., and Lafouche for supporting the channel.